This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Learn more about it later in the video. It's that time of year again! Guilty Gear Strive has finished another season of DLC, and that means we got 4 new tracks to analyze and dissect. So let's not dilly-dally or waste any time, because let's be real, I've been keeping you waiting for long enough. Let's talk about Strive Season 3 theme meanings. But first, this video is sponsored by War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. The game is now available for free on both PC and console. War Thunder's detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects let you immerse yourself in its intense and epic combat. The game really makes you feel like you're controlling the most powerful war machine ever made. And there's a wide variety of machines to choose from. There's over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from over 10 major nations, ranging from the biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to modern-day fighter jets and battle tanks. Don't like how your tank looks? Well, you can customize it to your liking with their in-depth and easy-to-use customization systems. You can use countless camouflages and decals for all types of vehicles so they look like the war machines of your dreams. My favorite feature is the X-ray view you get when you destroy an enemy vehicle. The game will show you exactly where the shell hit, what parts of the vehicles were affected, and of course, what caused the thing to blow up. So what are you waiting for? Go join the over 70 million players playing War Thunder today using my link in the pinned comment or the description. You can play the game for free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And when you join using my link, you'll get a massive bonus pack giving you multiple premium vehicles and an exclusive vehicle decorator. If you haven't played for over 6 months, you'll also get this amazing bonus. So why not give the game another shot? Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. Before we start, a couple of you have been wondering what my tier list is for all of these songs. Mainly because I like to talk about them, and people seem to think I'm the music guy when... So before we talk about any of the lists, here is my current actual tier list without the Season 3 themes on it. We'll slowly add them as we go through them. Anyway, let's get started. Johnny. If I could summarize Just Lean into 3 sentences, 12 words, and about 57 characters, it'd be... I'm him. I've always been him. I will continue to be him. Just Lean paints Johnny as this wandering hero who goes around saving people in dire need and imparting onto them his wisdom. In the Guilty Gear lore, Johnny is the leader of the Jellyfish Pirates, a group of vigilantes who have sworn to help those less fortunate and those in need. They also double as a strange type of orphanage, as Johnny basically adopts orphan girls and gives them a place to stay and a goal to strive towards. He has been the leader of the Jellyfish Pirates for a very, very long time at this point, and he has definitely made a name for himself. In fact, he is wanted in several different countries, which used to include Illyria. This inevitably led to Kaikis trying to arrest him. I am not making this up. Since he has helped the less fortunate, it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to say that several people have idolized him. I personally like to think that this is an actual song that someone in-universe wrote about Johnny, similar to how folk music generally tries to tell stories about people and events. The song tells you everything that you need to know about Johnny and gives you every aspect of his character. The start of the chorus, Just Lean It's Anyone's Call, shows his laid-back and carefree attitude, as well as showing that he has a gambling nature. Call is a common term used in poker when you want to match someone's bet, and the phrase itself is generally used when the outcome is uncertain. His heroics are shown all over the song, but a detail that I like is the line, "He'll come before those who want him gone." This can be taken at face value, meaning that Johnny always gets out before the people trying to catch him actually get there. But I like to imagine it as a slate against those in power. When something bad happens to the common folk, it's not the country's forces that come first, it's the Jellyfish Pirates. If you can't rely on your country, you can always rely on good old Johnny. The second verse dives into the final aspect of his character. He really likes women. The line, "It's a mess, but nobody thinks it's a joke," adds to the idea that even though he flirts a lot, he's not actually that successful. He's a mess, but he believes the words that he's saying. And let's be real, no one's buying it. Apart from May. There's one final thing that I want to touch up on before we move on, and that's one of the most iconic lines in the chorus. Ignoring that this is just an actual banger line, it could imply some darker meanings for Johnny. Johnny is a character who's never really failed before. Even when he got captured, he was broken out relatively quickly and managed to get back to leading the Jellyfish Pirates. But what happens if he does fail? What happens if he dies? If the Jellyfish Pirates are left without a leader, will they still function? Will May really be able to step up to that role? What happens to all those people who need him and need his help if she can't? Maybe this line isn't representing that he doesn't know what losing is. Maybe, in his eyes, he's not allowed to fail. Ah well, no use thinking about it. The fool's the one who hides from death. It's anyone's call. It's better to just lean. Top 3 song. Absolutely. Do not fight me on this.
Elphelt Valentine.
Elphelt is a Valentine, given her last name, and is the sister to Ramlethal. Unlike Ram, Elphelt is extremely expressive and very in touch with her emotions. By the events of Guilty Gear Strive, Elphelt has gone and formed her own band, known as... Ceophos Venaticus. It's another name for Bush Dog. She did this after abandoning her post in Illyria as she wasn't able to keep up with all the work. It wasn't like she was berated for this, but the stress of it all got a bit too much for her, and so she turned to music. Similar to how I like to think that Johnny's theme may actually exist in universe, I would like to think that this is one of Elphelt's songs. The song is split in 2, with some verses being Elphelt doing a metal scream and the other verses being sung in a more traditional poppy tone. This could be a representation of Elphelt's emotions, the stress of her situation coming out as screaming with a deep, guttural sound, and her general optimistic nature coming out as the cheery poppy tune. This first verse gives us a brief look into what happened after the events of Exard, with things like, no one can find me, I was a little lost, and I'm not sure what to do. The second verse switches to her cheery side, with a more optimistic set of lyrics to accompany it. She may falter and she may be scared of failing, but that's not gonna stop her, and she's gonna fulfill her ultimate goal to make people smile. The third verse then of course switches back to the screaming. However, it has a few noticeable differences in the lyrics. I think that this is meant to represent the stress that she feels with being the lead singer of her band. She's the star! She made it to this point on her own. Bit rude to your other band members, Elphelt. Not sure how they'd feel about those lyrics. And she's having a good time. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's hard being a public figure sometimes. It's a lot of work, and we already know that Elphelt isn't very good with failure. Maybe the stress of it all is just getting a bit too much for her. She thought it was going to be this fun thing that she could just keep doing, but eventually it starts to drag. It starts to get hard. It's not easy to keep doing this, and maybe she's finally getting to the point where she wants to run away again. But right after that, it seems like she has a realization. It doesn't matter how many times she fails, how many mistakes she makes, or how hard things get, as long as she picks herself back up. The final chorus mirrors this. The urge to scream is still there, but now the pop vocals are taking more of the front stage. She's trying to stay more positive and give everything a better outlook. And it's working for her. Solid A tier. Really good song. ABBA is a bit of a strange character. To say that ABBA doesn't have a lot of lore would be an understatement. She was one of those characters in the XX series which were just sort of there because they were cool. ABBA has basically zero connection with the overarching events of Guilty Gear. ABBA was created in a lab by a scientist known as Paracelsus. Before she gained life, he was unfortunately taken away by an unnamed military organization who wanted his technology. When she awoke, she was alone, and she stayed like that for 10 whole years. Eventually, she escaped the facility only to realize she doesn't know how to exist. The fact that she was a homunculus with a key obsession didn't help this that much, until she found a giant key. Well, okay, it's not a key. It's an ancient relic known as the Falman Nakil. Fuck off. And it was supposed to be a giant sentient axe, but ABBA saw it as a key, so she called this Paracelsus after her creator and began to venture the world with her new love. That's where ABBA's story kinda ends, since the XX series has been retroactively made non-canon by Paracelsus still being a key in Strive. The song has a lot to do with being normal. There's several sections which list admirable traits that a person can have. However, the post-chorus has some less desirable traits, with someone saying, "Those are virtues of mine." This song is simultaneously an acknowledgement from ABBA that she is nowhere near a normal or maybe even good person, as well as her rejecting the idea that she needs to be. After listing more positive traits, there's the line, "Words weave a stealthy chain," immediately followed by the chorus, which starts with "break out," as if she's trying to destroy the idea of what normal should be. ABBA isn't your normal good person. She canonically gets into fights over very minor misunderstandings, generally thinking that someone is hitting on Paracelsus when they're really not. The chorus literally ends with the words blah 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 blah, which for someone who very obviously puts a lot of weight on the power of words is really interesting, as she's intentionally shutting down whoever she's talking to and not listening to them. This is shown more with just a general aggression of the song. The rapid beating of the drums and the power chords give this whole song an aggressive tone, which works with ABBA's gameplay of a jealous monster, but in my mind, it can represent something else. Strive's arcade mode focuses a lot on the relationship between ABBA and Paracelsus, being a genuinely well-told piece of drama, and it has a nice resolution for these characters that didn't really have a story. However, in this mode, it is revealed that Paracelsus has manipulated ABBA before. The general rage and aggression of the song could be a byproduct of ABBA's emotions being mixed with the bloodlust that Paracelsus causes. I imagine overexposing yourself to a being purely made to cause violence doesn't do your brain a lot of good. But then we get to the bridge. The music slows down, and we get the real intentions of ABBA plain to see. The organs in this background give this section a holy type of feeling. However, when I hear it, I imagine that it has more to do with a wedding, especially since the lines after that have to do with both her and Paracelsus doing things. Love is a maze woven with words. Let's journey together. Normal or no big deal. Where? Just the quirky notes in the symphony. ABBA is empowered by her love for Paracelsus, and it makes her stronger and better. She's able to use this union to do what she wants to do most. Make a difference. S tier. Really good song. Slayer is one of the most important characters in the Guilty Gear lore, being around the longest out of basically anyone in the cast and witnessing every event that has happened in the canon at this point. He's the guy who gave Soul half of his name, as well as the creator of the Assassin's Guild. Despite being retired, he still likes to go around and go people watching. Slayer is a deep and important character. However, his theme is relatively simple. There's two general interpretations that I want to bring to the table for Slayer's theme. One which I think is the generally most interpreted version, the one that, most people think of when they listen to the song, and one which I assumed everyone thought of, but then I talked to more people and they went, no. The first is that all of the song is about Slayer, which makes sense since basically every song has to do with the character that it comes with. This would paint the song in a bit of a negative light. Slayer is growing tired of the mundanity of everything after living so long. He used to love the light of the morning sun, but the more and the more he experiences it, the less he likes it. He got used to it. Despite the fact that he's surrounded by things he loves, he grows wary of it and has to remind himself but to remember the fun journeys he had along the way. Maybe he's re-motivating himself to get out there and go for it again. This is weak sauce, though. I think that the theme's meaning is much more simple than that. The first and second verse refer to the two other followers of dandyism that we have in the game, being Zato and Nagoriyuki. Both of these verses are their problems and worries. Zato isn't able to enjoy the sunrise anymore because he's blind. In fact, he's not able to feel a lot of anything at all. Everything feels as if it turned to stone. Nago enjoys battling worthy opponents as an honorable samurai, his platinum blade slicing down the most courageous of individuals. However, he's losing that fire and that passion because he literally cannot be defeated. A notable detail in the second pre-chorus is that the heart turns into stone changes into my heart turns into stone. And if we use this interpretation of the verses, maybe this means that Slayer feels bad for turning Nagoriyuki and ripping this joy away from him. But then, what does the chorus mean? Well, I believe it's Slayer giving them his advice. Since they're both now basically immortal and he lived a lot longer than they have, he's giving them a little bit of insight into what he's learned. And to be honest, it's pretty good advice. Pretty catchy too. This is further emphasized by the second to last chorus having a change in lyrics. Sometimes you have to play a supporting role is literally him admitting that he's taking a back step. As long as he's there for his students when they really need him, that's all that matters at this point. Top 4. Not quite top 3, unfortunately. Once again, thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Make sure to play War Thunder on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox by using my link in the description or pinned comment. As a reminder, first-time players and players returning after 6 months get access to this amazing booster pack with all these goodies like premium vehicles and decals. So don't delay. Go play War Thunder today! And that is the theme meanings for Guilty Gear Strive Season 3. What do you think? Have any different opinions? Let me know in the comment section below. And yes, this is my actual tier list. Stop asking me. And no, it is not ordered correctly. There are too many bangers, and I changed my mind too much. Have a good night, everybody. As always, a very special thanks to 64 MHz, Almost Nap Time, Axolotl Syndicate, Cervantes de Leon, Daniel Wiederit, Edison Lottery, Fexo, Games.png, Haywire Novelite, I Am Naruto, It's Riley, Knife and Spoon, Criticat, Muhammad Al-Ali, MP04, Mr. Clen, Nubus, Ray W, Sergeant Cubby, Super, Falcon, Tom Tanks, Velvet Puppy, and Zandatsu for being Tier 2 patron supporters.